The old man was kicked out of the store. Then the owner arrived on a cold afternoon in a small American town. An old man slowly walked toward one of the most popular luxury stores in the city. He wore faded jeans, an old brown jacket, and shoes that looked worn from years of use. His white hair moved gently in the wind as he opened the glass door and stepped inside. The store was bright and elegant. Expensive watches, designer clothes, and luxury accessories filled every corner. As soon as the old man entered, a young employee looked at him with judgment. "Sir, this store sells premium products," she said politely, but with a cold smile. The old man smiled softly. "I know," he replied. "I just want to look around." The employee exchanged looks with another worker. Minutes passed. The old man quietly examined several items. He stopped in front of a display case and asked, "How much is this watch?" The employee answered quickly, $25,000. The old man nodded. "Beautiful." But instead of helping him, she said, "Sir, maybe another store would fit your budget better." A few customers nearby heard it and looked uncomfortable. The old man remained calm. He walked to another section. Then the store manager appeared. "What seems to be the issue?" The employee whispered something while pointing at the old man. The manager approached. "Sir, unless you're planning to purchase something, we ask visitors not to occupy the display area." The old man looked surprised. "I didn't realize looking was a problem." The manager forced a smile. "It's company policy." People started watching. One customer quietly recorded with a phone. The old man lowered his eyes. "All right, I'll leave." Just as he reached the door, a black SUV stopped outside. The front door opened. A middle-aged man in a sharp suit walked in quickly. The employees immediately stood straighter. "Good afternoon, Mr. Carter." Everyone recognized him. He was the owner of the entire company, but instead of greeting the staff, he looked directly at the old man. His eyes widened. "Dad?" The entire store became silent. The employees froze. The owner rushed forward. "Dad? Why didn't you tell me you were coming?" The old man smiled gently. "I wanted to see how your people treat customers." Nobody moved. The manager turned pale. The employee looked shocked. The owner looked around. "Who asked him to leave?" No one answered. Finally, the manager spoke. "We thought—" The owner interrupted. "You thought clothes decide value?" Silence. Then he turned toward everyone. "My father worked construction for 40 years. He sacrificed everything so I could build this business. He taught me that respect comes before profit." The store became completely quiet. The owner looked at his father. "Dad, I'm sorry." The old man placed a hand on his shoulder. "This isn't about me." He looked at the staff. "The next person you judge might not be someone important." He paused. "They might simply be someone who deserves kindness." Some employees lowered their heads. The owner announced immediately, "Starting today, customer respect training becomes mandatory." Then he turned back to his father. "Now, tell me which watch you liked." The old man laughed. "I never wanted the watch." The owner smiled. "Then what did you want?" The old man answered, "To see whether success changed my son." The owner's eyes became emotional. "Did it?" The old man smiled. "No, but now your store will improve too." Everyone in the store quietly watched as the father and son walked together, and from that day on, no customer was ever judged by appearance again. Moral: never underestimate someone because of how they look. Respect costs nothing, but it can change everything. The old man was kicked out of the store. Then the owner arrived. Part 2. The next morning, the story had already spread across the company. Employees whispered about what had happened. Some were embarrassed. Others were nervous. At exactly 9 a.m., the owner, Mr. Carter, called an emergency meeting. Every employee gathered in the main showroom. Nobody knew what would happen. Mr. Carter walked to the front and stood quietly for a moment. Then he spoke. Yesterday, something happened in this store that should never happen again." The room became silent. He continued, "My father visited this place without telling anyone who he was. People lowered their eyes. He wasn't treated with respect. Nobody moved. Then Mr. Carter said something nobody expected. This is not about punishing people." Everyone looked surprised. He continued, "It's about changing how we think." He pointed toward the entrance. "That door should welcome everyone equally." The employees listened carefully. Then he announced a new company rule. Every customer deserves the same level of respect, regardless of appearance, age, or money. Training programs started immediately. Employees were taught not only how to sell, but how to listen, welcome, and care. Days passed. One afternoon, the young employee who had judged the old man asked for permission to visit him. She drove to a small neighborhood outside town. When she arrived, she was surprised. The house was simple, no luxury, no expensive cars. She knocked. The old man opened the door. For a moment, she couldn't speak. Then she said quietly, "Sir, I came to apologize." The old man smiled. "Come in." She sat down. Looking around, she noticed old family photos and simple furniture. She finally asked, "You're the father of one of the most successful business owners in the country. Why do you live like this?" The old man smiled. He looked at a picture on the wall. "When you grow up with very little, you learn that peace is more valuable than luxury." She stayed silent. Then he added, "My son built a successful company. I'm proud of him." He paused. "But success only matters if people stay kind." The employee's eyes filled with emotion. She admitted, "I judged you before I even spoke to you." The old man nodded. "That happens more often than people realize." Then he handed her a small card. On it, only one sentence was written: "Every person you meet is fighting a battle you cannot see." She looked at the words for a long time. Before leaving, she asked, "Why didn't you tell us who you were?" The old man smiled. "Because respect should not depend on identity." She thanked him and left. Weeks later, customers started noticing changes. Employees greeted everyone warmly. Older people were offered seats. Families were welcomed. No one was ignored. Reviews improved. Sales increased. But something else changed too. People trusted the store. One afternoon, Mr. Carter visited again. He noticed the same employee helping an elderly customer carry shopping bags. She wasn't doing it for attention. She was simply being kind. Mr. Carter smiled. Later, he called his father. "Dad, I think the lesson worked." The old man laughed softly. "Good." Then he said, "Remember, businesses grow through customers, but reputations grow through respect." Months later, near the entrance of the store, a new sign appeared. "Welcome. You are valued here," and under it, "Respect costs nothing, but means everything." The end. 3 months passed. The store became famous across the city. But people weren't talking about expensive products anymore. They talked about something unusual, how everyone was treated with respect. Families came, older customers returned, online reviews exploded. Many said, "This store makes people feel seen." One afternoon, the owner, Mr. Carter, visited quietly without telling anyone. He walked through the store and watched. Everything looked better. Employees smiled, customers seemed happy. Then something unexpected happened. The front door opened. A woman entered with her young son. Their clothes were old. The boy held his mother's hand tightly. The mother looked nervous. She slowly walked toward a display case. One employee approached with a warm smile. "Welcome. Let me know if I can help." The woman hesitated. Then she quietly asked, "How much is this watch?" The employee answered kindly. The woman smiled awkwardly. "Oh, I can't afford that," the employee replied. "That's okay. You're welcome to look around." Mr. Carter stood nearby and watched. Then the little boy suddenly said, My mom promised that one day she'll buy herself something nice." The store became quiet. The employee smiled. "That's a beautiful goal." The woman looked embarrassed. She explained, "I work 2 jobs. I just wanted to see what nice things look like." Nobody laughed. Nobody judged. Instead, the employee brought them water, showed them products, treated them like valued guests. After a while, the woman thanked everyone and prepared to leave. That's when Mr. Carter walked over. He introduced himself. She looked shocked. He smiled and said, "Thank you for visiting us." She apologized. "I'm sorry. I wasn't planning to buy anything." Mr. Carter shook his head. "You don't need to buy something to deserve respect." Her eyes filled with emotion. Then she said something unexpected. "A few years ago, people treated me badly because I didn't have money." She looked around. "This place feels different." Mr. Carter smiled. Then he turned to his employees. "This is what success looks like." The woman and her son left. But before they reached the door, an older man entered, simple clothes, white hair. It was Mr. Carter's father again. He had seen everything. He looked at his son and smiled. "You passed." Mr. Carter laughed. His father continued. "Last time I came to test the employees." He looked around. "This time, I came to test whether change was real." The employees smiled. The old man nodded proudly. Then he turned toward the team. "Never forget this. People may forget prices. They may forget products, but they never forget how you made them feel." Everyone became quiet. That day, Mr. Carter added one final message near the entrance. Luxury is not what we sell. Respect is what we deliver. And from that day on, people didn't visit the store because it was expensive. They visited because they felt welcome. The old man was kicked out of the store. Then the owner arrived.